beneath your feet! Sacred grounds, watered with tears of blood! Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
We do not kneel.
On a cold winter morning, in the time before the light, in flames of death's eternal rain, we ride towards the fight. When the darkness is falling down, in the times of tough or right, the sound of evil laughter falls around the world tonight. Fighting hard, fighting on for the steel, through the wastelands evermore. The skeletons will feel the hell bodies wasted on the shore. On the blackest flames in hell's domain, we watch the lives they go. In fire and pain, now once again we run. So now we fly, yeah, we're free. We're free before the thunderstorm. On towards the wilderness of West Arizona. Far beyond the sundown, far beyond the moonlight. Deep inside our hearts and all our souls. So far away, we wait for the day, for the lights all so wasted and gone. We feel the pain of a lifetime lost in 1,000 days. Through the fire and the flames we carry on. If the red days dawn in, and the lightning cracks the sky, they'll raise their hands to the heavens above with resentment in their eyes. Running back through the mid-morning light, there's a burning in my heart. We're banished from the time in the fallen land to a life beyond the stars. In your darkest dreams, see to believe our destiny is time. And then the sea will all be free tonight. And on the wings of a dream, so far beyond reality, all alone in desperation, now the time has gone. Lost inside, you'll never find, lost within my own mind. Day after day, this misery must go on. So far away, we wait for the day, for the lights all so wasted and gone. We feel the pain of a lifetime lost in 1,000 days. Through the fire and the flames we carry on. Now here we stand with that blood on our hands. We fought so hard, now can we understand? Now break the seal of this curse if I possibly can, for freedom of every man.
This is where we hold them!
So far away, we wait for the day, for the lights all so wasted and gone. We feel the pain of a lifetime lost in 1,000 days. Through the fire and the flames we carry on.
Hail the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate you. Man, lots of good people in the chat here. There be Rogues here. Zax, what is up, dude? Good to see you, my brother. What's up, Keely Chow? Thank you, Supreme Heretic. Guys, please make sure to check out Supreme Heretic and United Resistance. My brother's out there hustling, doing what he's got to do. Thank you to him, and thank you to everybody out there, friends that I have had over the years. Much appreciate you. CJH channel member, thank you so much for being here. Hail, brother. Tina Bowden's in the house, but she's heading out because she hasn't seen the last 2 episodes yet. But we appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for coming to the members stream. Greatly appreciate you. DJ Odyssey, there be Rogues here up on the panel. Going to be hanging out here soon. Papa Cotton's out there. Even though he don't like Star Trek, he is hanging out. That is my man. Thank you so much for being here. What'd you do? He says, I made Twitter so much fun today. Y'all need to go follow me over there. It's awesome. Dude, share a link to your Twitter out there in the dude, you are my managing moderator, Papa. Put your links out there. If you want to put them out there for yourself, you go right ahead and you do that, dude. Greatly appreciate you. Keely Chow coming through, supporting everybody. We do not kneel. Hail the Fandom Menace. Hail Geeks and Gamers. Hail Comicsgate. Hail War Campaign. Hail Rogue Entertainment. Hail United Underground. Hail the Fellowship. Good groups of people right there. Please check them out. Follow them, and thank you for being here. What's up, Captain Fandom Nerd? Hail, brother. What is up, little chat? Good to see you. Going to start introducing my panel. Get everybody up here so we can start talking Picard. Let's see. Trixie Walt was the IC's fucking. No, okay. Yeah, I boomered. DJ, don't fuck with me. It's too early. It's too early to mess with me, Deej.
I'm the one that's been drinking, yet I know when to unmute.
I unmuted. Your package is showing, bro. Can you just adjust the?
No. You deserve the package for that.
I can't.
You deserve the package for starting the stream muted. You deserve the package.
Oh, jeez, I can't do it. Okay, next up is our favorite Canadian, Mr. Tickle Shrunk. What's up, bro?
What's wrong with the package?
But it's big and pink and it's in my face. It's
right. That's where it belongs. You know, it's where it belongs.
No, I can't
exactly
avert my eyes. I don't understand what's going on right now. But thank you. It's good to see you, dude. Also with me is from the Wednesday, the Mad Stump. Please welcome Slender Dad. What's up, brother? Well, thank you, Slender. I appreciate. Oh, there you go.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't have a whole lot.
All right. Well, I mean, it's a thank you very much for being here. And with us also from the Mad Stump is Lil Chad. What's up, brother?
Hey, I'm the other person who doesn't know how to mute. Oh, wait, no, I managed to unmute my mic, Slender. So good job. There you go.
Everybody's always picking on each other around here. I think I've had to learn the flow of the Mad Dump because y'all just mess with one another all the time, and I'm not used to it. And so Mad's humor stumps me all the time. I can't, but I had a dream about him, Lil Chad. I don't know if I told you. I had a weird, it was like a gay dream. I've never had a gay dream before, but it was a gay dream I had with Mad Mardigan. And he had smooth legs.
Really getting into that early, apparently.
He had smooth legs. That's what I remember. I'm not saying genitals touched. I don't remember genitals in the dream, but I remember his legs were smooth. And it was.
Are you trying not to get messed with, or do you want to be messed with?
I'm just being honest. I'm keeping it authentic, Slender. That's what I'm doing.
He wants messed with. He wants messed with.
I do not. And thank you very much. I did enjoy seeing the Enterprise, the old Enterprise, the Enterprise D. That does not mean I want the D.
Whoa, we're jumping right into the
big
spoilers.
D. You want the big D. That's what you want. The big D.
Look, we all want the big D. He just wants to play with it. That's all.
Yeah, he wants to play with that big D.
Look, we're all fine looking at the big D. He wants to put his hands all over it.
It's a fat D. I like the D. It's okay. And with us also
disrespectful to the D.
With us also is Ryan Roger. Anthony, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
It's great to be here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm surrounded by boomers and gay dreams. My goodness.
That was the first gay dream I ever had, Ryan. I never had a gay dream before. It was difficult.
It's like a turtle. He's hiding from the mischief.
I almost hail the chat. What's up, LDG? Good to see you in the chat, brother. Hail Pickles. Pickles is going to help us with DJ Odyssey when we get his fundraiser funded, so he can put on the Slave Leia costume for us, for the entire community, showing us what a man will do for money. I mean, proudly, stunning and brave. Thank you, Pickles. We appreciate you helping. You and Shellback will be help supporting our brother after Supreme Heretic waxes his ass. Thank you so much. Horny Alpha's here. What's up, Hell Legion of Memers? Good to see you, brother. E. Clay Thompson in the house. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Tim Hayes, yo, Hail. Good to see you, bro. Let's see. King of the Squibs is here. Hail, brother. Hail the chat. Good to see you. What's up, Ruth? How you doing, Ruth? Good evening. Ruth is one of my moderators over on Lodonis Dragonstorm. Thank you so much for stopping through, honey. I appreciate you. We're going to talk about some Picard.
I'm muting now so I can go grab my food. It's here.
Well, go grab your food. Hide your package. Can you at least hide it while you're doing that? Can you? No, he didn't even do that. Oh God!
I can't take my eyes off it. Oh, now I can. There we go. Thank you. I've been hypnotized this whole time.
Good to see y'all on the panel. Before we get into these episodes, like generally, I know we didn't get last week, so we're going to be covering both episodes this week. But how did I want to start with Ryan, because Ryan had this idea that the show was a triangle. How did you explain the triangle of the show?
I have Joe Biden's memory. I don't know what you're talking
he said that it started out bad, got good in the middle, and then was going to get bad again. Do you still?
I will say that I think, from my own perspective, I've been proven wrong. It's like a heartbeat, in a sense, an opposite heartbeat. Starts off meh, then goes down, then goes up, then goes down, then goes meh. And for me, episode 5 and episode 9 are 2 good episodes. The rest of them are okay to meh. 8, just like 7, for me, it was just extended filler. Get rid of the mini boss, bring in the main boss, as it were. So for 8, it was meh. For 9, it was, this is quite good.
Okay. Little Chad, how'd you feel about the last 2 episodes overall?
I mean, I thought 7 was the weakest one. I thought 8 was an improvement because over 7. And then 9 was really pretty good. It was back up towards the those good middle episodes. So I'm enjoying the season. I'm not as down on it as Ryan is. So
okay, all right. Slender Dad, how do you feel about it so far? Last 2 episodes.
I think 8 was definitely a big improvement over 7 in a lot of ways. 8 and 9, I enjoyed both of them quite a bit. They were not without their tactical and strategic flaws.
Right.
I don't know who is in charge of, the fleet, as it were, Starfleet, but they're stupid. They're effing stupid. Like, their security protocols are the dumbest things in the world, which, by the way, episode 9 showed me that the single most secure location on any Starfleet ship is the turbo lift, because it is inherently, you cannot override that thing, you can't stop it, it is just get in the turbo lift, and if the whole ship goes down, you're gonna be fine.
As long as the power doesn't go out first.
Well, that's funny because was it episode 8 at the beginning where Shaw tells 7 you should have blown the lift. Apparently that's a capability that the ships have built in to keep the turbo lift from accessing the bridge in case of incidents, and they even mention it. So why the Borg? I mean, the Borgs aren't free thinkers, though. So maybe maybe that just didn't occur to them to hit the button to blow the turbo lift that they were all in.
I'm under 25, so eliminate all the unassimilated. I have black makeup on my face, and I'm going to eliminate you all.
It had very nice classic Doctor Who vibes of trying to keep your monster on a budget.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Tickle Trunk, you had said we had complaints about episode 7, and you said that was the saving money, the budgeted episode.
That's called a bottle episode.
Right.
When they only use a couple rooms, they don't use any special effects or anything. It's mostly just people talking. Unfortunately, it wasn't done very well because it was sort of filler. 7 and 8 should have been the same episode technically. So it's a bottle episode in a bottle season, because the whole show takes place basically on a couple ships, and that's all we've had really. So.
And do you think episode 8 was kind of the same way? I kind of got the same feeling from that one too.
Well, they probably saved a lot of their budget from 7 to use a little bit more in 8, and they saved in 8 to use a whole bunch in 9 apparently, because there was a lot of CGI in this one.
Could you send a link to Mega? I think I might have forgot to send him one. If you got time to stop through.
My favorite part about 9 was that all the millennials had a mind virus that made them act the same. I thought that was a nice dig.
I'm Gen Z.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
And everyone over the age of 25 was inoculated from the mind virus.
Yeah,
because your brain hadn't fully developed until 25. It was a nice subtle dig at people who don't want to acknowledge biology. that your brain isn't fully developed till 25, so maybe decisions aren't fully realized until then. Although Starfleet seems to be recruiting a shit ton of people under 25 for what they're doing in their ships. So
look, everyone needs cannon fodder.
Yeah, all the red shirts are rebelling.
DJ, what did you think of the previous 2 episodes?
8 was absolute garbage, and 9 was idiotic as hell and a ripoff of Battlestar Galactica.
Ooh.
What's that? I'm 23.
All right, well let's get into that. No, Deej, go ahead. Tell us about episode 8. What did you think of that episode?
It was boring garbage. Let's just let them all onto the ship and put them behind little fake walls. Yeah, it was just horrible.
That's it. You checked out.
I checked out. It was horrible.
I was, with the ship being taken over and the bring Jack up here, or we're going to start killing hostages. I was actually intrigued by that. It seemed a little bit. It kind of seemed like old Trek to me, to be honest. The drama between, giving up one of their own, the ethical question of giving someone up or allowing them to give themselves up in order to save other lives. So what did any of you think?
I would have just sat there and said, "Get the hell off my ship, or I blow Jack's head off."
Really? What if Jack was your kid? What if you're Picard? Would you do that to your kid?
He didn't know the kid until a few hours before that. He couldn't have missed him that much.
So D supports late-stage abortion.
Yes.
How American of him.
Only if it's a Picard.
What did you think, Ryan? What do you think of the drama?
I really think that the attempt to build tension, first of all in episode 7, then in episode 8 with all the hostage situation, it wasn't played very well because Vadic doesn't know how to build tension when she's all gleeful. It's not stoic, not solid. Well, it's not solid. They're bloody changelings. But it didn't have that effect because the character that the actress was playing was a bit too goofy. I did like the twist of her shooting the older, bold Vulcan instead of the younger, bold Orion. What are Orions doing serving in the Federation? I don't know.
I don't think she's Orion.
Well, she's bold. She's definitely bold.
I mean,
but
maybe she's the same as the one from the motion picture that got digitized. She was the first. She was a Baldy in Star Trek in 1980. So they've been around. And for me, maybe she was channeling Chang from Undiscovered Country. There's a villain, built up tension, but was gleeful about it, quoting Shakespeare, having a good time because he thought he was arrogant because he thought no one was going to beat him. I don't know that it's uncommon in Star Trek to have the arrogant, laughing villain doing malicious things. So it doesn't. I don't think it's out of character for her to be doing that while she's taking out hostages to try to get what she wants.
Well, I think it personally fell flat in my view, but somehow Data took over lore and saved the day.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, before we get into that, I don't know, Slender, what did you think of Vadic in this episode?
There were a lot of issues I had with the episode. I mean, we already knew somehow these guys with a single shuttle come on over and take an entire ship, like what is essentially a capital class ship. Then they start killing people, and you have the ship. You have control of the ship. You are indiscriminately killing people. You're now threatening to execute people on the bridge. You took the ship. Why would you encourage the animal to act as though it is cornered when all you've got to do is start marching through the place, find Jack, and drag his ass back to your ship? Like,
And that is a good question, right? You have control of the ship, so you have control of the force fields, the everything.
it was just dumb behavior.
I mean, do you think that they were just trying to bring like a psychotic element into it, like with that character?
They might that's the one thing I kind of give a pass because okay, she's crazy, so maybe she's a little stupid, but like that character has never acted so unintelligent before. Like she has always maintained control of the situations without losing her cool like that. But this time they're just like, no, let's just have her go completely, nutty and do really dumb, tactically unsound things that are going to make the situation worse.
I mean, if they got the right actress for it, though, like for the direction they were going with.
Yeah, compelling character. I won't deny that. I just felt like it was out of character for her to start making such just patently absurd choices based on what kind of situation she had. She was in control, and then she started taking actions that caused her to lose control.
I think there's definitely an element of madness because of the torture that the character went through, and it's a changeling. It doesn't care at all about solids. Although we have seen in the past changelings be a lot more methodical, calculating,
Bitter,
and exact.
resentful.
Right, right. So I am seeing that difference. I know they're trying to give us these changelings have been through some shit. They're mentally, emotionally damaged at this point, but still, changelings were, I think, still to me a lot more of a threat, honestly, in like Deep Space Nine than this show. I don't know, Mr. Tickle Trunk, what do you think, man?
I liked her a lot more at the very beginning. She was better written at the beginning, I thought, and she is a little bit creepy when she just sort of like, I hate how she doesn't pronounce the D in Picard's name. That is not a thing with French language. That doesn't make any sense. It would be Picard. It would not be Picard. I hate that stuff. But she was kind of, I really liked she was kind of creepy in a few spots. And when they captured Riker, I think it was episode 5 or 6, when she just she changed back into herself and just kind of looked at him and giggled a little bit. That was great. That kind of stuff, she thrives.
Yeah, I mean, Sporking says, "What's up, Hail Dude? My brother, guys, please check out Sporking's podcast later. The Dump." He says she was always on edge. She was tortured by her leader. Anger ruled her. Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's like the crazy aspect, is where the torture damaged, changeling. That's how I looked at her and how she was acting. It's the madness that we saw in episode 8. Although I enjoyed it, I did enjoy that episode. Was a little out of character for me, and as far as how changelings would approach a situation. I think it was like Slender had said it earlier. You have control of the ship. You would just go get it. You just go get Jack. Why are we having all this kind of this wordplay and this tension and this anxiety, being ratcheted up? I didn't really get that. What's up, Mega Reacts? How are you, buddy?
I am good. Listening to you talk about changelings, always fun.
Now, what do you think?
I think the issue is they fundamentally don't understand changelings. Every changeling that has ever been in the Great Link has the memories of every other changeling. They've been through torture. They've been through the worst. So I don't think just being tortured would turn changeling into basically psychotic idiots who, like you said, didn't even go to the bridge and just look for Jack. Makes no sense.
All right, DJ, what do you think of that sequence?
Idiotic, unintelligible. I'm saving myself up for episode 9 here when I get to that point, because I've got a hell of a lot to pick apart about that.
You do? Because 9 had me crying at the end. I ain't even gonna lie.
That's just because you want the big D.
Boy. I love that big fat D. That big fat D was beautiful. We're not gonna get into that yet.
Steven just wants it carpeted. That's all he cares about.
Is it carpeted?
I actually snickered when he said that.
So did I.
I'm kind of embarrassed, but it's true.
Yeah. So let's see. The Data and Lore. The Data Lore sequence. I kind of figured that out. What he was doing at the very beginning. What did you? Anybody any Data fans here? Or
Data fan.
Data
Yeah.
fan? So
Next generation Data fan.
Yes.
okay. So what a little Chad, what did you think of the battle between the Data and Lore, in the same mind, and the structural additions?
I understand why people don't like it. As someone who had has watched Next Generation several times over and since it's been on, starting when it premiered with Farpoint, like when I was a kid, the Data that they put in there was more true than even the feature film versions of Data, where they tried to kind of like comic relief him a little more.
Yep.
This version of Data, where the way he subverts Lore is by giving Lore what he wants as a Trojan horse to get him to let him in and take over from the inside, winning by surrendering, is exactly what I would expect from Next Generation through season 7 Data. That's what I would, that's how he would have done that from the being written true to the character. It was telegraphed fairly early. I don't think anybody expected Lore to actually win. But that's pretty standard in sci-fi shows you watch. You have a pretty decent expectation of where the end point's going to be when you're watching sci-fi television. I like it was well acted. Brent Spiner playing off himself as Lore and Data, especially he definitely slipped right back into the Lore role, going back to exactly how he played it in Next Generation. It was, to me, that was great. Because Lore's not someone who would have had character development or changed at all. He would just be like the terrible, obnoxious, positronic being he was. So I actually really liked it, and I liked that, especially when he hands over Spot. That was a nice touch,
and it was good they left that to the end, because it was like he was giving Lore love.
Exactly,
it was
and
poetic. I liked it.
Yeah, so I really liked it. I know that some people are like, oh, it's kind of cheesy. Well, Star Trek's always been cheesy. It's just it's just entertaining and well done, and is it true to the characters as they laid them out? I think most of the issues people have had with Picard can really be rooted in the fact that for seasons 1 and 2, none of the characters acted at all like they should have acted. And I also really appreciate, as a Next Generation fan, that Geordi and Data's relationship is what's on display, because in the movies, since they were the two most popular characters, they tried to shoehorn in, and they did in Picard season 1 and 2, this thing where somehow Picard was Data's best friend.
Yep.
And that's bullshit. It was Geordi. Geordi is the one that he was always, doing stuff with. So bringing that back in season 3, where Geordi's the one working with him, and Geordi is the one feeling emotionally devastated seeing the screen go red with Lore taking over and wiping away Data. That is also something that I really liked, because as a fan of the TV show Next Generation, they're actually getting the characters back to what they should be at this stage in their lives, moving forward from where they were.
What do you think, Ryan?
I personally think it was a good contest. Just lure your opponent out with all these baits, and then the switch right at the end. Gotcha. I got you. I melted your heart, and I took you over.
What was the game? Remember that Next Generation episode where Data was playing that, was it Raktajima, whatever that game was?
Strategema.
And he ends up beating the guy by not beating him. Like, he's like, hey, and it ties back to that. Is like, you were trying to win, and I was just trying not to lose. And by just taking a completely defensive stance, he frustrated the guy to the point where he quit. There's Data on display, going right back to what he did with Lore here. He completely subverted that person's on all offensive mind. Mm-hmm. How do you take on somebody who's going to overpower you offensively? You change your tactic.
You are what you eat in this game.
Yes. Good point, little Chad. I forgot about that episode. That's great.
I think Slender, a lot of you were overthinking this.
Oh, go ahead, Slender. Go ahead.
I agree with that. Go ahead.
This is psychology. It's the id and the ego coming together to form the super ego. Like that's what it is. The id wants what it wants. The ego has to manage that want against the needs of society. The super ego is created to get you the things you want without taking from the people you care about. Lore and Data are the id and ego coming together to form the superego.
Damn.
I haven't read Freud in a very long time, so
But this is Freud. And I mean, there are also elements of yin and yang. You have to have a foot in both camps in order to achieve enlightenment. Like, there's a lot going on there, but I don't think any of it was a callback. I think it was just a well-written sequence of, coming to terms with what you want and who you care about.
well written. New Trek. My goodness.
You won't hear me say it a lot, but
I think
thought
I
that
disagree with
part was
everybody.
well written.
All right, Mega, go ahead, brother. Preach.
I thought it was a predictable scene showing us what we all knew was going to happen. Data's going to beat Lore, and then even though they merge, we will never see any aspect of Lore again. Of course, there's only one episode left, but it was fan service at its worst, in my opinion. I don't need to see the cat. I don't need to see all these member very things.
No Tasha Yar. You didn't like seeing Tasha?
No, because it just feels like cheap manipulation tactics. Now, it definitely works in episode 9, and we'll get to that, but it did not work here for me. And people saying they were crying about this scene and seeing Spot, it's just like, come on, dude.
Not even the same
It wasn't
cat.
that powerful of a
So
scene.
I do see in the chat someone wrote like well written, like this was not well written Star Trek or something like.
It was fine.
Yeah, Star Trek has a good long history of terribly written episodes going back to the original series. So I'm a Star Trek fan and I love it, but you got to allow for the fact that every season of every Star Trek show has had clunkers and has had poorly written dialogue, badly acted scenes. So I don't hold this thing to a standard I don't hold all the other shows. Like season 1 and 2 of Picard are dog shit for lots of reasons. This season having clunker episodes, like episode 7 universally should be considered a clunker.
Yep.
But that's true for I could pick out any season of Next Generation and they had clunkers because they had a syndication deal that needed 26 episodes a season. And sometimes they were stretching that shit. And there were bottle episodes in that every time they wanted to have a little bit fun in the holiday. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy things that you can go. And so I know that I really want to fight against people who are a little too jaded. Like I understand we've been hurt. We've been taken advantage of. We've been kicked in the balls by the people running these shows.
Yeah.
I'm 23.
So remember that when you used to watch these old shows, I mean, God knows, if anybody in here defends Enterprise, you want to talk, we can talk about bad written shows because Enterprise had lots in every season until they got to the Xindi arc. Yeah. So the Xindi arc is where it finally had a cohesive, plot. I think hopefully Mr. Tickle Trunk agrees with me on that too, because the first bit of Enterprise
Dude,
is a
TNG, bring up any Deanna Troy episode.
Yeah.
I'll see you that. I'll see you that a bit, compared to this show. Jesus Christ.
Or where's the Deanna or Troy's mom? Anytime Troy's mom.
No, I like the Troy's mom stuff. Most of that was actually
one good
I'll fight
episode
you
where
with
it was
those.
the guy who was about to do ritualistic suicide. That was a really good written episode for her. But my point is, don't hold this show to a standard that isn't fair. I think you can be critical of it and not like it for things, but take it as it is compared to all of the Star Trek we've seen before. Star Trek isn't pure. It has like Next Generation. I have the whole box set Blu-rays. It's not always good.
Especially the first season.
Yeah, first 2 seasons.
First couple seasons, yeah.
So I don't want people to I mean, we talk about member berries and not liking this or that, but don't let nostalgia blind you to how it was sci-fi. It was like the only sci-fi we were getting at the time in the early 90s, aside from some like Knight Rider 2000 and other bullshit things that
Alien Nation was good.
Alien Nation
was fantastic.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, DS9, what's the standard? Career-oriented DS9. Yeah, so I just be fair to the show. Judge this season as if Picard season 1 and 2 didn't exist, because when we talk about episode 9, they definitely laid a line of dialogue that basically said season 2 of Picard definitely didn't fucking happen, because about encountering the Borg for not seeing them for like 20 years. Yeah, so apparently that whole like saving the universe from a thing with the Borg last season just oops, erase. It's like Bobby Ewing in the shower. Didn't happen.
They ignored Goldsman.
So I'm gonna stop for a second. I wanted to get that off my chest because I see a lot of people who are not liking Picard trying to hold it to a standard based on how abused we have been for the content over the last few years.
And the stuff
I
I
don't
hate.
think
No,
that's
no,
fair.
no. I hold it to a standard not compared to the other seasons. I hold it to a standard on how idiotic the writing still is.
Yeah, because it's secret hideout. You can't get around that. Terry Metalis has done miracles with this toy that's been busted, pissed on, set on fire, and half of it thrown in the garbage.
He hasn't done miracles. He's just ripped off from so many other damn things.
Yes,
to try to make.
That's what TV shows always do.
Yeah, but this is so over the top of rip-offs.
Well, I think great stories have already been told. All we give now is twists.
Star Trek ripped off westerns because it was a space western when it started in the 60s, and then everything's been ripping off Battlestar Galactica was ripping off Star Wars, including design. It was actually a lawsuit, which is why they had to change
this last episode ripped off Battlestar Galactica.
Which ripped off other shows before it. It's sci-fi. It happens. Is it executed well? Are they good characters you like? Then you'll like the show. I mean, everything kind of rips off. What is it? The old thing. There's only like 6 or 7 stories, and everything is a variation of those basic concepts. Did you? I get if you didn't enjoy it, just say you didn't enjoy it. Trying to like when you attack something for being a ripoff, it just is. Everything can be a ripoff of something. Like even Homer was ripping off shit when he did the Odyssey and the Iliad, right? So, what are we? I mean, I don't think that's a fair criticism. Is it good? Is it well done? Because I mean,
okay,
that's what I would say.
I wouldn't call
really
2 good episodes out of 9 a success.
Agreed.
I wouldn't call that a success in the slightest, because during the golden age of Star Trek, which I see as from 1987 to 2005, stinkers were the exception, not the rule. So
Voyager was some shit.
Voyager was. I will move that Voyager is better than Picard season 3.
With everything I say about Picard season 3, I don't dread watching it every week, which is so much better than the previous 2 seasons. So I might give it a lot of shit, but I do not dread watching it every Thursday or Friday. So it has that going for it.
I keep hoping it gets better, and then they give us storylines like, let's put Picard's DNA into the transporter system. That's stupid.
I actually thought that was a pretty nice way to do it.
I liked it too.
As completely
that means
implausible and
every single
impossible
person
as it is, it's better than a lot of the ways they've kicked off Star Trek arcs.
That means everybody that goes through the transporter is no longer who they are.
Yeah, that's true no matter what. That goes, I mean,
I've
when
always
you step
been
into a
convinced
transporter,
that's-
you're a Xerox copy of the original, and the original gets destroyed.
You're dead and your clone is walking around.
I mean, Bones McCoy waxed poetic about that in the original series. He hated the transporter.
If anybody brings up Tuvix, I will strangle you.
Reginald Barkley had some classic moments on
Tuvix.
Next Generation about
Tuvix
not going
was a
through
better
that.
plot line than this.
Scott, if you say Tuvix, so help me.
All I know is Star Trek fans are nerds.
Fuck yeah.
And
I had a portable TV going to my brother's Little Leagues games because I was such a nerd, and I was watching syndicate episodes of Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine because they aired behind each other. Because my mom was like, you have to go to your brother's baseball games. I was like, I'm bringing my TV because I don't want to miss Star Trek. Because now that's nerd, because you're going to get pants saying stuff.
Let me just say this. Steven got me into Star Trek Next Generation because I was a little bit older and I didn't watch it because I was like, I don't know, liking girls or something, but he got me into it. I didn't really care for season 1 that much. Like, Picard was such a dick.
F those kids. Scotty would message me and go, why is Picard kicking these kids around?
He hates children. Yes, and
that's why we love them.
And I don't know who said it before, but this whole Picard love it. Wait a minute, I got to move this over here so I don't look like I'm staring at something else. Picard, and the whole Data thing, yes, that's weird to me. They're like best friends now, and I'll let you die, my friend. And I'm so happy. Geordi It's Geordi and fucking Data.
They did that back in the movies. They started with First Contact and then
they
going
took the two
into
most popular characters and made
because
Like-
they mashed them together.
Because he always made it seem like Picard always made it seem like he was just like almost like annoyed by Data. Like Data annoyed him, but he knew he was good. Like he needed him. That's how it felt with it. At least from what I saw. I haven't finished Next Generation, so DJ, I am not as big as a fan as you. I love listening to you because I'm like, these episodes are awesome, and then I hear you, I'm like, I don't understand why he hates it so much, but because with me, like if it's Game of Thrones and people like I did not. Like I ripped apart seasons that people are like, only 8 sucked. No, many seasons of that sucked. But like, it's because I read the material. I understand it, blah, blah, blah. And like listening to you guys like break it down, like I had to jump on and be like, wow, you nerds are amazing because you made me like want to dislike, like I fucking hate it. Excuse me. But I fucking hated season 1 and 2, or I didn't even watch 2. Season 1, they killed him. He's dead. Okay. And I know there's canon where you can move, but he literally, the meat sack is dead to me. I don't care if you change consciousness, you're dead. Okay. They killed the man to kill the man. Like that's what they did in season 1. They killed Picard to make the female the strong one. At least this season, they're giving us what they should have gave us in 1, where we're bitching about certain things, but not about the message. And that's maybe what I think we all can agree on, DJ.
Well, I mean, Alf even said that earlier in the chat. Let's talk about the fact we're debating the writing and the material instead of like how woke it is, and that in itself is a blessing.
Whew. Blessing. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry
not
just to
arguing.
jump on. Yeah, go
I'm
ahead,
not
brother.
arguing anything that's woke or anything. No, I that's not even in my. I'm just
Right.
arguing the idiotic storylines that they're trying to throw at us and think that we're going to swallow it.
So I just want to come back at the idea, and I just blanked on her name. Vada, whatever her name is. Vatic. Yeah, I'm really paying attention. Like as the episodes go on and the fear of not getting Jack in time and the pain she's going through by her own leader, like I think that's why she started losing her mind as it went on even more. Like, I understand they all have a consciousness. I didn't watch the Next Generation movies yet, so I didn't even know who the fuck changelings were. But what I realized that they're more of they're not they actually are like a evolved version, correct?
Yeah.
Tortured, I would say manipulated,
arguable.
genetically
No,
manipulated.
they're genetically changed. The
Yeah,
original
'cause
ones
they
are
can-
they're like orange paste.
Yeah,
Right,
they
and-
can generate blood and organs, so they're completely different. And it's not even clear that if they can still link, which is
Right.
something that I think is
They probably
haven't
can't.
touched on. I don't think they'd be able to. with the
Federation
changes.
changelings.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because go
and
Chad.
they would hold. I was saying they would have a particular hatred for the Federation because when everyone talks, I mean, the whole point using the Great Link as an example of why they're badly written is easily something I can turn to say it's why they're actually good. Because if you had the link taken away from you, you remember how angry Odo was, and
Yeah, but-
when changelings were separated from that, it fucked them up. And these
But-
changelings may never be able to do
None
that
of
again.
this has been told to us through the show. This is us just speculating on something that's not there because we have.
Which is what we've done with
we
Star
are
Trek
better-
forever.
we
Well, then,
are
Megan,
better
why does-
writers.
But why
and
does she have to? Why does she have to call him then with her cut off hand? If they were linked, she wouldn't have to do that, correct?
Well, yes, but
No,
I don't.
she's
I
talking
don't
to
even
the
know
Borg.
who. I don't even know who the hell she's contacting.
Yeah, I
They're
still don't know.
working for
To the Borg.
How is she talking through the Borg through her
I
hand?
don't
think it has
know
to-
because
I
it
think
makes
it-
no sense.
I think it has to do with the if they use the transporters, wouldn't they not have part of the DNA?
They don't use
In
the
them?
transporters. It's
Yeah, I
actually
mean-
You have to be under 25 too.
Well, I think
And
they make if you watch the season, like they make a point of every time they go somewhere, the changeling people never use the transporters. They won't.
Right.
Well, the
My
changelings
biggest issue is,
transported
I
out
think-
of Rose Shuttle to blow it up. So
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We
were
know the
transported out.
Borg is using the changelings to
Yeah.
get
I
to an
think
end of the
the-
means. I
The
think
changelings
the
are
Borg,
never going to be brought back up. I think they're done. They were used as a misdirect, and it was wasted, and it was all for nothing because now we're onto the Borg,
And they
Well,
were
I
trans.
think-
and we're never going to find out anything else about the changelings.
Well, I think the
We got one
Borg
episode left.
had attempted to assimilate these changelings, and it didn't work, and that's why she would have to cut off her hand to have communication with it.
And I'm glad these changelings are gone. I hate them.
Yeah, they suck.
They're way less interesting than the originals.
Than the originals, yeah.
But she is a
much
great
cooler.
actress. She is a
Yes.
very cool actress.
She is.
Yeah.
But,
as
but
far
let,
as I
let
can-
me br-
Yeah,
let
she
me
did
bring the
fine.
big elephant into the room. Shelby, why the hell
Yeah.
would she even agree to have Starfleet ships
that made no
networked
sense.
Yeah,
when
it doesn't
she
make any
was the
sense.
biggest proponent of that sort of thing with the Borg? And,
You're correct
let's
on
talk
that.
about how long was her fucking speech, because she started the speech and then they decide to fly back to Federation space and they said it would take over an hour. for
Yeah,
them to
I
get
noticed
there,
that too.
And Shelby was still talking.
Well, she is an
Heather,
admiral.
inner
Slender,
Hillary
can, as a Navy vet, can admirals talk that long when they want to?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ryan. What were you saying?
Oh,
I
any
was just saying
officer can talk for a long, long time.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just saying that Shelby was channeling her inner Hillary Clinton. That's a good job too, because
So you're
the under
saying she has a kill list?
25s, like me, shot her dead. So yeah.
Could I ask a question? Is Shelby the same one in the first season that was like ripped?
She was in. No, she was in the Best of Both Worlds, Part 1 and Part
Okay.
2. She was the substitute commander that came in. She was only in the 2 episodes. She was the Borg expert.
So she wasn't the sheer fucking hubris person.
No.
Okay.
No.
I was gonna say they kind of looked alike, and I'm like, why is she completely different now? Okay, that makes sense.
No, this is a great cameo going back. Like, she hasn't been anything Star Trek going since
I know,
the 2 episodes.
and I enjoyed seeing that.
I'm
like,
such a
that-
virgin.
Those are the, like I know some people are complaining and saying that like we're getting member berries after member berries, but really to me this is a love letter to fans. The way that it's been constructed, the characters that we've seen from Ro Laren to others, like I don't know if Barkley's going to pop up. I understand like people complaining about you're just getting these member berries. To me, it's fan service. I think
Yeah, when
that
There's a
for
difference.
what they
There's a
had to
difference.
work with-
All I need right now is Captain Jellicoe to pop up as.
I want to see Jellicoe.
No,
Hell yeah!
that's
it's
the guy
grumpy
that
ass.
needs to come back in. Like he should be
Very
riding.
old.
He should be riding
He's still
shotgun in like
alive.
the NC 1701A.
Dude,
Like,
Shaw's
let's
son. That'd be great.
Well,
Right.
didn't you? All right, so from episode 1 till he died in this last episode, tell me that acting wasn't amazing. How he went from someone who is such a dick to someone who's still a dick, but you love him.
Yeah,
Like it was
Shaw could have had his
amazing.
own show. Scott, he could have had his own show.
They shouldn't have killed him. They shouldn't have
I
killed
loved
him.
him from the start. I'm still holding out hope that maybe they Borgify him or something so that he can still be around.
Right.
Yes,
I don't care if
that's
he's a
what I
bad guy
said.
Or not.
Yeah.
He'd be awesome.
You didn't see the body vaporize. So
There were
you could-
tribbles. Sorry.
You didn't know. You saw Shaw dying. You did not see him die. In science fiction, you can write that out easily.
Did we
What I
get
love,
Whoopi?
Shaw.
Whoopi in season? What do you think?
No.
Was she in season 2
No.
at all?
Yes.
Okay, thank God I didn't
think
watch it.
She was in
Okay.
season. Yeah, she was at the bookend for season 2.
Shaw was a loose end that needed tying up because Kurtzman was on holiday and he don't want to deal with any of Metallis's shit. So anything that Metallis makes, he's got to unmake because Kurtzman don't want to deal with that.
Well, there's no season 4.
No.
And Shaw
did you
can
see? This is
still
the
be
last
alive
season.
because Seven and Rafi never left the Titan, so they could haul his ass.
Oh,
around.
Rafi, I can't stand her.
Right. Well, the thing-
Turned my boy Shaw into a glorified red shirt, and it breaks my heart.
yeah,
Well,
but they-
No, I
sorry,
just
go
want to
ahead.
ask a question. I'm sorry, I'm the bigger
No, go
star
ahead,
here. I'm the big star here. My question is
it.
this: could we get rid of Picard because he is super old, and just like Riker can have Riker can have a series with the old cast? Like, give us that again. That's what I want. I want.
70 years old, Sporking. He's only 6
mean-
years younger than Sir Patrick Stewart.
Wow, he looks so much better.
I mean, I think this is a good example of the difference between a streaming show where you shoot the entire season and the way they used to do it on TV. Because actually, I was talking to Slender about it yesterday because we were discussing the episode, and I was like, if this was old television where they usually shot like 9-10 episodes at a time and then took a hiatus, they would have seen fan reaction to Shaw and they would have rewritten it so he doesn't die.
Yep.
Like, and they did that all the time.
Would have
Like,
been great.
yeah, one of the famous examples is Urkel in Family Matters. Like, because his character was getting all the press, they basically rewrote it so it went from a family Cosby style show with him as just the wacky occasional neighbor visit to being his show with everyone else being his supporting characters. which, and I don't know whether it's better or worse because Urkel is a terrible, like what happened, like is a terrible example. But there's other times where that works out really well, where characters who are supposed to be one-offs get such great reaction, they can just continue to do that. So I think Shaw, if this had been a traditional way of filming, would 100% have been clearly still alive and just knocked out or incapacitated. But I get why they did it, to give it, to try to show, they always want to show that there's consequences and that there's, that there is real danger to people you even spend a lot of time and energy on.
I knew he was
tied up.
Yeah. And I knew he was going to die because they had to have the moment with him and Seven and him actually calling her 7 of 9. But what we still don't have is why she prefers to be called that. I'm assuming it's because that's what Janeway called her, and that's not her
That's
real
your
name.
Borg identity, man.
Throwing your Borg identity away means you take back your real name.
Well, no, but I think that the character found her humanity
Ryan,
while she was still being called 7 of 9. Like I just that's the way I see it. I know Ryan has to leave in a few minutes, so before he does, I wanted to ask what he thought your favorite moments in episode 9, 8, whatever.
I will allow it. I will allow it.
Thank you,
folks. My 2 favorite moments. The first was when everyone my age was turning into Borg, and killing everyone. Of course, all you old people. And number 2, seeing a 50-year-old ship going off into the sunset, or going into hell, more like, going to Earth to take on the Federation Borg fleet. We're going to see the power of plot armor, folks. One ship against, 100? 200? How many ships does Starfleet have?
A shit ton. A shit ton.
A billion, D.
I gotta go. I'll be back.
All right, brother.
Well, thank you all very much for having me. What's Mr. Grant Gregory doing on the panel?
Hello, mate. How you doing? Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Well, I'm
I'm bedtime.
And here's to a great stream. You can find me at Ryan Roger Athe, but stick around here, folks. I'm sure you'll enjoy this great talk. I have to go on to another show now because scheduling's a bitch. Bye for now, folks.
See you later, Ryan. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Oh, that's my full screen. Okay. How do I go back? Okay, there we go. God, I can't even operate my own StreamYard.
Oh, damn. Now we got cuddles, and now we've got...
Nerd cookies!
Yo, nerd cookies. I
like that one.
Get back on screen. You're the host, dude. Jeez.
Hold on. I prefer either... Okay, well, you see, that one's from Star Trek. But I don't... Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. No, hold on.
Below Decks.
Yeah. No, that's...
I like this one. I like this is my favorite. This is see, I'm sorry guys, just 1 minute. See, all Culture Casino ever wanted was a piggyback ride from Drunk 3. That's all. That's all he ever wanted. And Drunk, that bastard, wouldn't let him have it. So we mocked this up because this is culture. This would be his happiest moment. His happiest moment in the world would be finally getting that piggyback. Look at his face.
Yeah.
Finally getting that piggyback ride from Drunk 3PO.
Yeah.
I like to see people have their dreams come through. And
I think the face looks constipated.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have clothes on. But anyways.
You don't think? Do you
No.
think he's inserted in that?
No, he'd probably have like a sparkly G-string or something.
Holding on with a third arm, he probably would.
I got to bounce though, Author Walton. I blessed you. I have a more important show to do in a couple minutes. So
okay.
But I'm really happy I got to be on with these amazing people. I don't know why you're here. It's your show, I guess. You're finally getting good people around you, I guess, again. So that's good. Except Tina Bojan in here. You don't have female representation. So bunch of white looking dudes. Is anybody not white?
I'm a pink bunny. Leave me alone.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, DJ. Good representation. There you go. And you got like a little kid in Chad. That's disturbing.
I want you to stare at this.
Wow. Look at that. Is that the Great American Hero?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's in the girth. That is perfect.
I have the actual Greatest American Hero outfit to wear on
that
stream.
used to be one of my favorite series as a kid. So
yeah,
good.
me too,
so
man.
good.
We're thinking about covering it after
Today. I'm
Battlestar.
just wearing the T-shirt though.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scotty, tell them where they can find you, brother.
I don't need to. Anybody watching you already knows me. So
that's fine.
No, I'm just unless this is like people that like listen to your other channel where you yell about people. Sporking News Podcast. You can find me in the higher tier of YouTubers. So if you don't want to slum, come on up, and we start at 8:30. So I'll see you then. And I got
All
these
right,
kids staring at me. Get out of
Watch
here!
Scott rub elbows with royalty.
Yeah, Tickle Trunk. It's always an honor. I love you, man.
This is the first time we've been on the stream together.
I think it is.
Yeah. Thanks
It
for
is.
giving me the Hollywood. Good to see you. Because we have never met before.
I love you, man.
Like,
Okay,
Scotty,
come on. Back kisses, Scott.
Later, buddy. Back kisses.
Back kiss.
Butterfly kisses.
was there any,
I didn't want to ruin his night by saying I have 3 times as many subs, but we'll let him go.
Yeah.
You should have. Dude, next time you
Yes.
have to do it.
please, Mega. That ego, you're gonna deflate that ego a little bit. You know, it's he likes the punishment. He's a submissive, so he's
I was going to tell him
I
I was going to tell him I only had like a quarter of his subs and still had 5 times the people in the live stream.
or the talent. It's who he surrounds himself with. He's a great illusionist. Now, guys, check out Scotty. Check out Sport News Podcast. It's up later at 8:30 tonight. Appreciate you. I have to ask this, Deej. I know you're down on this and everything, but did you not have any feeling, any good feeling, seeing the TNG cast sitting around the same table at the end of 8?
No.
No? Okay. I was just wondering. Because
They screwed up Worf. They screwed up Worf. He should not even look the way he does. He's freaking middle-aged Klingon, for crying out loud.
No, you're right. But I mean, at this point, if you haven't gotten past that, then you're just not going to like it.
And I don't.
Okay.
At least he doesn't have 2 penises that we know of.
And he still has his head, ridges. He doesn't look like an orc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that much.
But anybody else? Did anybody else enjoy seeing the cast sitting around the old table again at the end of 8?
I'm very indifferent about the whole show, really. Because I don't get what a lot of people get out of the show. Because the writing, I have huge issues with the writing and everything else, but I don't besmirch a single person for liking this show because they're getting what they want out of it. It's no messaging, and they want someone who is clearly a fan of the show, clearly a fan of the movies, doing callbacks to things that they love, and that's Terry Matalas. And the reason the writing is so bad is because it's still under the same roof.
Right.
So,
I just want to mention that you said besmirch.
I did.
You did.
Because I
In a
don't
sense.
besmirch. Yeah, I
I
did.
don't know. If
Look,
they want to
I'm
give me
Canadian.
a callback from a movie, give me something from Insurrection. Because it was even better than this crap this season.
Man, I am in such stark contradiction with you about that. I really am enjoying this season.
Well,
and
what
I'm
have I been
forgiving.
telling you? What have I been telling you? I'd rather watch Galactica 80 than
We're gonna cover Galactica 80.
Holy shit! Did you just say Galactic 80 with the space bikes? Jesus.
Yes.
Yes, he did, little Chad. That's the vitriol this man has.
Well, that was more original.
Galactica 80 was more original. Like you want to talk, you complain
Original
about ship in a
doesn't
bottle
necessarily
episodes.
mean good.
Yeah, and you go with Galactica 80 where they're like,
Galactica
we have
80
to slash the budget by 90%, so it's going to be on Earth
Galactica
now.
80 gave us the space bikes. They gave us the first human-looking Cylon. They gave us Wolfman Jack.
They gave us Lauren Green with a goatee to show he was older, but then everybody else who was younger, like Starbuck and Apollo, were suddenly dead and gone. Like, come on.
Well, Starbuck
And Super
wasn't
Space
tech-
Child. You want to talk about the magic kid that's the key to everything? I mean,
Starbuck
Galactica
wasn't
80 had that.
technically dead. He was just left behind on a planet with some miraculously pregnant woman that a Cylon said
yeah.
was his.
Yeah, who had Space Jesus, super smart scientist kid, who
And
invented.
even that
Space
episode
Jesus
was
is Sheridan.
even that episode was more
Correct.
entertaining
Mega.
than Picard season 3.
Okay. Mega, I mean, did you like at all seeing the cast finally back together around the table talking like they used to?
I really didn't get much out of episode 8.
Okay.
It was fine. I mean, I don't think it's utter trash like some people do, but it's just mediocre for the most part. And nothing in episode 8 really hit me. Now that was not the case in episode 9, and we will get to that. But episode 8 just didn't do it for me.
All right. Well, little Chad, any feelings on that?
Like
The
I
old
said,
the old crew.
No, I mean, I think it was a nice touch. I mean, I think again, 8 was an improvement over 7, but they were still probably the weaker part of this season. I think it was. I mean, if you want to, it was kind of moving the plot from point A to point B, so you had to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best part of it was the data part. The sitting around the table was, it was a nice touch, but I don't. That moment was compared to what they gave us in 9. Now 9 is where.
Oh, 9 is where it's at.
It's not them sitting at a table together. It's what you get in episode 9 that really does it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Slender, anything you want to add to that? Do you have any feeling on it?
Well, and again, I'm kind of a different perspective. I'm more of a Star Wars fan than Star Trek.
Right.
I've watched some Star Trek, but I don't think like I've ever seen a season through of any Star Trek. I've seen a lot of it here and there. I know who Picard is. I know who Captain Kirk is. I know most of the characters. There were a couple in this that when I started watching it with the wife, I had to go, hey, who's that? Is that somebody from some other season? And then she'd explain it to me. But all in all, I think the writing is passable. The performances that are being given by everybody but Raffi are pretty good. And the characters are compelling for the most part. So, I mean, maybe it's not spot on Star Trek, but I'm enjoying it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to episode 9. I mean, what do you guys think? I know it's going to be controversial, and DJ, go ahead and preach on this if you need to.
The best part of episode 9 is when Data looks over and says, "Hope we die quickly."
Oh, that part, that was good.
I agree.
You be more positive.
Yeah, that was funny.
What do you think of the explanation with Jack Crusher? What do you guys think? Just
played out. Borg. I'm so tired of the Borg. I knew it was going to be the Borg because that was the most obvious and dumb answer. I was hoping for
someone
Power
who doesn't
Wraith.
even watch the show, I agree with you. I called that like in episode 3.
It's just so played out. I'm tired of the
called
Borg.
it. I called it
Tired
since
of
episode 1.
Yeah, you did, Deej. You did. But I think it's fitting. I mean, I understand it's played out. I get that feeling. But for me, in what I believe they are trying to do, is, touch every beat that was TNG to us. And the Borg. I mean, those pivotal episodes when Q brought the Borg in was, some of the best Star Trek TNG we got.
And it's Voyager is where they nerfed the Borg. I mean, let's be honest. Like the Borg for Next Generation, even into First Contact, were still a looming terrible threat that we didn't solve. And with Voyager, it's where they were just like, let's nerf Voyager. Stargate SG-1'd the the Borg to just being like laughable bad guys we can beat every couple weeks, which. Right. And like Janeway invents new armor and new torpedoes and new this or that, and we can always the Borg Wolf 359. They took out like half of the Federation fleet with one cube,
right?
And we're gonna assume that like Janeway with her little podunk ship is now just like I can beat them and take out everything with that. No, I'm sorry. I have a lot of ill will towards Voyager, and part of it is that, and the fact that they magically didn't run out of torpedoes when they said they only had a couple hundred in the first season, and they were just shooting them off left and right. But anyway,
good point. I mean, but the explanation, and it wasn't a Pa Wraith. I think Deej was trying to call out that the thing with Jack was a Pa Wraith, and they didn't go in that direction.
No, I said it wasn't Pa Wraith. I said everybody that was yelling about Pa Wraith this, I said, no, it will be the Borg because the voices in his head reminded me of Borg.
Well, that's only because we wanted something interesting, and we were hoping that you and everyone else wasn't right. That it was going to be the Borg again. I was right.
I think you guys are getting a little spoiled because back in the day when I watched He-Man, I knew Skeletor was up to no good in every episode, but I still watched it.
I do appreciate though that this brings the Borg back to being a malicious threat in a way that they haven't been in Star Trek since what is it? When did Voyager finish them off? Like 99, 2000, 2001, whatever they were. This is the kind of malicious tactical like infiltrate. Like you're a not a biological species, right? You're a hive mind. You're going to think of ways to infiltrate and take over. If direct approach got rebuffed, you think of an alternative path. And it's not, look, we can't take away that the Borg have been overused and poorly written, but they're still one of the better conceptual villains that they had access to. The Dominion, I think, might have been like going the route of the Changelings with doing the legit, Dominion. Like, we ended the war, but we've been calculating how to take the Federation down ever since. I think would have been a better route, but I don't blame someone who wanted to try to rehabilitate the Borg, and I think Metalis wanted to do that a little bit.
Yeah, I thought this would have been a more interesting season if the villain turned out to be Sela, and the Romulans were trying to reassert themselves with dominance.
Would have been interesting.
That's a good point, because post I guess Nemesis, Romulans would have been pretty neutered after the Dominion. Yeah, that would have been nice, because the Romulans wouldn't have just sat back and taken it, and that would have been a nice way to, again, call back to Next Generation as well. That was one of the classic, like, oh my god moments, right? When Tasha Yar pops back up on screen, but she's a Romulan. So.
And that would have circled around to the first season when they were having the problems with the Romulans there.
So, I mean, what did everyone think? What did you think of the explanation bringing the Borg in with Jack and the DNA and him being an active receiver? Was it decent writing? Was it a good creative call? I mean, what did you think? Lil Chad, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's a good, if you're going to use the Borg and you want to do that's a good way to do it. It works into using the transporters. That's a great way to, I mean, if you really, there's a lot of classic nerd arguments about the merits of the transporter as a system, right? Like, because you are always effectively destroying the original one and making a copy. We've got transporter clones that have happened with Thomas Riker, going back. So using him as a broadcasting tool, we know that the Borg are capable of doing that through their hive mind and the stuff they've done in Star Trek before. Mixing in the organic stuff, using that as something they couldn't detect when Picard had the aromatic syndrome, I guess is what they call it. I can never pronounce it right. I don't mind it so much. It's definitely a plot device, but sci-fi is full of those things where you just start rattling off like techie sounding things, like Star Trek is saying something's quantum and then it can just do whatever it wants.
Right.
So I don't mind it. I think it's a decent device to get us to where we wanted to be for the story.
Slutter Dad, what do you think, buddy?
I
have no idea what you're talking about, but I think I made it back just in time.
I'm sorry. I didn't see the private chat. I was asking, what did you think of the explanation with Jack Crusher and him being an active transceiver for the Borg?
I thought it was interesting. As soon as I started putting the pieces together, I was like, now they're going to hook him up to a giant power source and he can control everybody at once. And then it happens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is the writing sophomoric? Yeah, but in my opinion, Star Trek writing has always been kind of sophomoric. I still liked it.
Okay, Mr. Tickle Trunk, what do you think?
I hated it, and I don't know why I hated it. That's my problem. I don't know why I don't like it.
You get a delicious cheesecake with strawberry sauce and everything, and you're like, "There's not enough strawberries on this."
I want chocolate. Okay, wait, hold on. No, I'm saying, like, I don't know why I don't like it. All the pieces seem to fit, and I knew it was the Borg before because they said it's a thing you passed on to your son through you. They laid those seeds in many times. I don't.
Yeah, but Picard only had to do that once.
So what you're saying is that it was too much sandpaper and not enough ice cream?
Not that analogy doesn't work in this case.
Okay.
the sandpaper that you run through naked is the harsh stuff you have to get to eat the ice cream.
Mm.
That's the analogy. Like it wasn't painful. It just like it. I don't know why I didn't like it. Maybe because I could think of better, like the what's her name again? You brought
Vedic?
up the Tasha Yar's.
Or-
What's her name? The clone or daughter or whatever the hell.
Sela?
Yeah,
Sela.
Sela.
Yeah,
So like,
thank you.
if it was Sela, like that to me, that would have been better.
All right.
I think I just like alternatives more than this.
Okay.
Probably. I don't know.
Mega Reacts, what do you think of the explanation?
I like that the Borg are doing something different than just marching up and sending their drones in. I mean, it was a interesting take. It didn't really blow me away, but I like that they're doing something different, something new, and it kind of makes sense. The transporters are crazy. Now they said Jack can send messages out, but he could also hear people's thoughts. So is he a receiver and a transmitter, or just a transmitter?
I think that was only for the people who'd been through the transport system, and so they had the Borg DNA code.
So maybe they're sending
implanted
it
in
back
them.
to him.
Yeah, so he can read, like, they're part of the they're ready to be hive-minded and assimilated.
It's definitely an interesting concept, and I do appreciate them trying something new and not just we are the Borg.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it. Actually, it was something different and moving into something more organic, and tying it in with the past. I enjoyed it for what they were trying to do.
But it also shows how stupid the Borg is.
Well, go ahead, Deej, tell us.
They went through all this freaking work when we already know they can time travel. They could have time traveled at any point and just not been around a Federation starship to follow them back and assimilated at any point.
Okay, good point, Deej. So when Jack took control of the two guards, like when he just talked with his dad and said, "Oh, you're going to trap me in here. It's not going to happen." How do you think that is it a plausible explanation that when Deanna helped him to realize, open that door up, that all of a sudden his powers just activated? He could just use them now at will, because it kind of went from it was uncontrollable and just kind of sporadically happened to him being able to at will.
Well, they gave him the
Well,
training
he did-
montage in episode 8 where he took over the guard on the bridge.
And he didn't open the door. She opened it, looked in and seen what it was, and he asked her what it was, and she didn't tell him. It was Picard that actually told him.
Right. Well, I don't think I was thinking on a subconscious level when you go in. When she went to his mind and opened that door, I think subconsciously he knew. I think before the door was even open, he was trying to. That was him protecting himself from,
The door's in his head after all.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and you're right, little Chad. They did kind of give him a training. You're right. There was a training montage with the security guard. So
I see
guess that's
a red door and I want it painted black.
it's just smart or not smart for him to go looking for the Borg. What do you guys think?
Terribly
That was
stupid.
dumb. I
Incredibly
hated it.
stupid.
Dramatic.
But
Yeah,
he's
it was-
only
it was done
supposed
for
to
drama.
be he's supposed to be what at this point a 21-year-old kid doing something stupid. That's in keeping.
Yeah, but you're not going to walk up to the fucking Borg Queen or go into a Borg cube alone and think you're going to be safe. Like that's past inexperience. That's suicide by Borg. That's like suicide by cop.
Suicide by Borg.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
That's like
Right.
walking onto a road expecting a car not to hit you. It's idiotic.
One man
I'm
show
gonna go
says.
poke this bear. I'll be right back, guys.
One man show said, "Why would you put two armed guards on someone you know that person has mind control?" I don't think they understood the extent of what it was at that point, unless I'm wrong. Is there a better answer for that, guys?
That sounds
The
good.
only thing I could think of is they put two there thinking maybe he could only control one.
Yeah.
It was in the
That-
script.
That was my thought process. Is they figured he can maybe grab one, but probably not two, because he'd only done it one at a time up to that point.
Right. Yes. So, all right. The control of the fleet. What did we all think of that scene? What did we all think of? The activation through Jack, and then first off, what the hell is the Federation thinking? Creating a system that links every ship together.
They already showed how the Borg could use it against them in season 2 when Girardi Borg Queen did it.
Well, I mean, and not even just that, but like if you go all the way back to the TNG series itself, the Borg, could they could infiltrate a computer system on a ship and take it over. So it just doesn't make sense to me why they would link all of their ships. That part I didn't.
You don't even
Because
couldn't wrap my head around.
they're a quasi-military, so they're going to do stupid things because they got an approved budget line item for it.
Well, apparently their turbo lifts are still programmed in C+, so they were good to go.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. I'm not. Go ahead, brother.
Like, leave the Borg aside. Like, don't you think the Romulans could take over the entire thing? It's nothing but a security risk.
Bring in the binaries.
Even being able to link pods of ships together for tactical maneuvers can be
Well,
taken over
clearly,
by the enemy. Doesn't
someone
make any
was
sense.
like, do you remember that time Khan Noonien Singh took over that ship and the Enterprise got jacked up because of it? Well, that wouldn't have happened if this... so we're going to use an example from like 170 years in the past where this one time it would have been beneficial because they knew the codes and we would have been fine. But no, that's the only time when it's just two ships in a nebula and you're getting housed by a genetically altered person from the 21st century where that would make sense.
Tickle Trunk, you all right, bro?
I'm just venting.
Broken out over there.
You're having a seizure.
No, Tickle Trunk's reacting to what the D looked like when he first seen
the fat D. I mean, okay,
the
well let's get into the big fat D. What did you guys think of seeing the NCC 1701D?
I love that apparently a 6-man team can run a Galaxy-class starship now.
I was thinking that too. Okay, if they get hit once, that's it. They're done. I
love the fact that they have torpedoes stored in a museum.
Yes, and they were put in by drones. So there's drones there. Geordi has his drones on deck, so that's the crew now.
I turned off all logic thinking I had for those 8 minutes, and I loved every fucking minute of it.
So did I.
I will
Turned
say
off all my logic and just went with it.
I will say the explanation of having to get the saucer section because of the Prime Directive is like, okay, that actually makes sense. You can't just leave like a spaceship like crashed on a primitive planet for people to find. Otherwise, it'd be like pyramids. And Scott would do a whole episode about it.
You're right, Slender. No, Mega, I was right there with you, dude. Like I said, tears, bro. I was enjoying every single moment. I liked how they took 7 of 9 and Raffi, and they stayed on the Titan. They kind of got them, out of the crew, so to speak. And then you had nothing but the original cast, going to get in the Enterprise D. Everything from Picard running his fingers across the control boards to Worf going, well, I prefer the E. It had more phasers, banks, and this.
I did like the homage to Star Trek books are always questionable canon, always but sometimes they're good. And in some of the Star Trek literature, Worf becomes the captain of the Enterprise E. And the line where he's like, well, we can't use the Enterprise E. And Worf's like, well, that wasn't my fault.
My fault.
Because it reminds me of when he gets beamed out of the Defiant in First Contact, where he's clearly very defensive about when he's in a command role on a starship.
That's a tough little ship.
Right. I love seeing that. I mean, Deej, any feeling whatsoever? Any appreciation for that scene, seeing the D?
I've hated the D since the get-go. I never did like that damn ship.
You miserable fuck.
I had more feelings when I saw the NX-01 refit than I did for the D.
Deej is like, why can't you just hijack an Akira class, you dumb sons of bitches?
Oh my god. Chrono says that Deej's prefix code is 12345.
No, Chronos, it goes the other way. It's 54321. Oh shit. Never mind.
Wait, I have the same code for my luggage. Somebody better change that.
I'll be honest, guys. When I saw the D, when I saw the last 8 minutes of the episode, that was the first time I've rewound a TV show several times to watch some scenes over in like 20 years.
Since Debbie Does Dallas.
That has been the porn notwithstanding. I That is what I wanted. In that moment, honest to God, I forgot about every damn tweet that any of those idiots have put out on Twitter, any of the preaching. I forgot Discovery. I forgot all of the schlock, the crap Kurtzman Trek, the disrespect, all of it. For about 8 minutes, 6-7 minutes, however long it was, I was completely engrossed in what I was seeing, and I was a part of something I had loved growing up again. Just for
now there was
for
a
short bit of
line.
time.
There was a line from that scene that I liked, but it seems that I'm the only one that has my take on it. When
what's that?
When Riker says, "Doesn't this seem a little bit smaller, or am I just bigger?"
Mm-hmm.
My take to it was that was an inside slam on all these other Star Trek shows that's been coming out lately with these huge, giant freaking bridges that seem to go on forever. And everybody else just took it like, no, the size looks right. That they focused in on too much on the size of the D bridge when I think it was a slam towards all the others.
I don't know about you, but sometimes you do have to focus on the size of the D.
He's a fat dude. He got a lot of girth. A lot of girth.
She said.
Yeah, that's the and remember that saucer can separate, for her when needed.
I just went on a bridge with lights. I could see.
Yeah, it was well lit.
Lovely.
That was amazing. Like
So we are really reaching with some of the innuendos right now.
Penis. See, I go for the kill. I don't mess around.
Way to bring it back down to earth, Mr. Tickletron.
No, let's go for the real kill. Trees.
I didn't feel anything with this, but I admire Mega and Steven's ability to let Star Trek just take its top off, shake it in your face, and you don't overthink it. You're just sort of see exactly there. See, you go. You motorboated that, and I don't shame you one bit for that, because that you know what, we just as fans we deserve it.
I think so.
I still like the NX-01 refit better.
It's a beautiful.
Shut up, Worf.
Yeah. No, I loved Next Generation. When I was growing up, the one that I always thought looked the best was the A. The from Undiscovered Country.
Yeah,
I think that one, the basically the peak of the Constitution class, was probably the best looking. And the Galaxy class has always just been a little too, like, that saucer section's just number one. If you ever get like models of it, you have to get fucking like base additions to hold that giant saucer section when everything else can, all the other ships can handle it just fine.
Yeah, it's got a big head like a special needs kid.
Yeah, it's
it's just fall. Unless you help it stand up, it just falls right over.
Yeah,
that's why you got to get the helmet.
So I actually, when they went to the E in the movies, I thought that one was a good.
It was a slick ship. Yeah,
I mean, nice. And then on a conceptual level, the D was basically a giant floating city. And I remember, I forget what it was, Jellicoe in his episode was like, who thought this is a good idea to like basically have everyone's families here, like in a tactical situation? This is the most retarded thing. Like, you would, like, if you were on who thinks that an aircraft carrier would function better if everybody brought their wives and kids on board too? It's from I know the argument of whether the Federation is a military body or not, but these are the Navy, right? These aren't the like. This isn't the explorers.
Family cruises in the Navy, so you can have family on board sometimes.
And it's not a warship. They were actually focusing on exploration and diplomacy after the Klingon War, I believe.
Yeah,
that was the story for TNG when it began.
Yeah, and then DS9 is where it was after the Borg encounters that the Federation started developing ships of the line again. Yes. That's where the Defiant program came in. The Akira class, the Steam Runner, the like all those ones.
Going back to warfare.
Yeah, culminating with the Prometheus and Voyager, which was a god awful ship design, and I'm glad it's never been shown again. So,
I will say this episode contained the third and the first ugliest incarnations of the Enterprise.
Where the museum?
The first is the D. That's the ugliest. The second was this damn F that they showed.
You didn't like the F? I thought it was okay. I didn't have an issue with it.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
the
F is
only-
basically a modded up E. It looks like they've
Yeah.
kind of they've separated the saucer with like independent pillars. They sleeked it down. I mean, if you like the E, you'll probably still like this one. But
The
The F
only
reminds me of Voyager a bit.
the only Enterprise uglier than the F was the C.
no, the ugliest one they've ever put on screen was in Enterprise. Was it the J, where it was just the giant saucer section
Okay,
with the
okay,
two skinny
okay.
little
Oh.
nacelles?
Okay, you got
Yeah.
me. Okay,
That
so
was the most god awful one I've
D
ever
moves
seen.
down to second place, C moves to third, F moves to fourth, and we got the J at number 1.
Well, thank you,
Nerds!
Yeah, don't come at me, bro, on Star Trek on ship design. I'll start freaking out. Like, well, it's at least it's not a Miranda class, you know.
You're all wrong. The Star Fury is the best ship ever made.
Babylon 5.
Yes.
Hell no.
You're not even gonna go with the White Star out of Babylon
Agreed.
5.
No,
Viper.
White Star
White
looks like
Stars are beautiful.
No,
Oh.
they look like plucked chickens. I don't like them.
Dude,
Oh, really?
I
I just
like
want
the
a Voron
Bebop from the Netflix series. That shit was amazing.
Sort of.
I'm kidding. It's not true.
I did appreciate that they did the extended like ship porn sequence when Shelby's giving her speech and it's coming out of dock. Like, you know, for all these people who are going to put this stuff on the internet, we're going to give you basically angles of the ship from every side so that you can get the design and be able to have it ready in high def. So. And
Well,
pour one out for the Excelsior. They lasted like 2 minutes into this episode. Like, hey, we've secured our ship again.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, you know, they just threw that name out there, just throw the name out there. The Excelsior should have got more respect than that.
I
but
feel
that
like
was-
it's
but-
Yeah, they
Metalis
can
saying.
remotely take control of that whole ship and do
No.
whatever they want with it, but
But
they
that
can't do
wasn't-
shit with a turbo lift.
There's two
That was-
things in this episode where it seemed like Terry Metalis was going out of his way to shit on season 2 of Picard.
Yeah.
One was they had Gates McFadden, you know, Beverly Crusher was like, we haven't had contact with the Borg in over a decade, which
Mhm.
completely just means that season 2 must not have happened.
Mhm.
And the second is when they blow up the Excelsior, which was the one they rolled out in season 2 of Picard. You
Oh,
know,
really?
They made a big deal. Remember, he was going for the
I didn't watch
it was
season
the inaugural voyage of the Excelsior. The new,
Okay.
not Excelsior. Well, no, that was the Stargazer. Never mind, Stargazer. And now look
Yeah,
at
but
me.
this wasn't the original Excelsior either, because if you read the registry number on it, it's not the one Sulu was in command of.
You know
No,
what
that
we
one's
learned
probably
in
at the
this
Fleet
episode?
Museum.
We learned in this episode they can set their phasers to stun.
Yes, we did.
Amazing.
And now they're color coordinated.
And when did phasers become like? I remember it was a specific phaser like where it was burst shots instead of like the continuous phaser.
Mhm.
I would like that if they acknowledge just in a line that that's the kind of phasers they're rocking, because the last time a lot of people watched Next Generation, a phaser was a continuous beam coming out of that little thing and not just like shots. I think they changed that was it in Deep Space Nine where they switched to the like burst
Yes.
fire phasers to go after part of the Dominion War.
Yes.
I will say I like the retro look of the phaser.
I do like the retro look of the Fae. I was just thinking about that. It definitely more in line with something you would have seen in the original.
Do you remember in the Kelvin timeline movies, one of the stupidest things I thought was when the phaser had to flip heads,
The flip thing,
to go
yeah.
from like
So
to go
dumb.
from stun to kill. I was like, that is terrible. Like, why would it even need to do that? Like, come on.
Because
I
it
don't
had to be
know.
flashy.
I think the stupidest thing with the phaser is Michael Burnham holding it backwards.
No doubt.
Good thing they didn't give her the little like hand. You remember the first? Was it in season 1 where of Next Generation where the phaser was just like a really tiny mouse that you held in your hand?
Yeah,
And it was like, and man, give that one to Burnham, and it would have just nuked herself. That would. Oh wait, maybe we should. Let's give her that phaser. There we go.
What's so, Mr. Tickle Trunk? Are you looking forward to the finale? And do you have any predictions?
No and no. I'm just along for the ride.
All right.
I'm not really. I'm not into it. I'm kind of curious to see how they finish it off, because this is the last season of Picard, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That-
From what I
yeah. So
understand.
Terry's doing his best to sort of go out with a bang, because
All right, well-
he actually has love for the show.
You're going to ride that fat D into the last episode.
Damn
right?
right. He's gonna ride it. Yep.
Okay. Slender Dad, what do you think? Any predictions or expectations for the season finale?
I don't necessarily have any predictions or expectations. I somehow think that LaForge's daughter is going to have something to do with changing the mentality of Jack. But beyond that, I mean, I'm pretty open minded. I think it's probably going to be cool, but I am in the same boat of I don't know how one ship is going to go up against an entire freaking armada.
Oh, I already got that all figured out.
They'll change the frequency on something, and it'll magically make it work. Wasn't that always the trick in Star Trek? Like
They'll disable their IFF.
We'll
Have you tried
polarize
reversing the polarity or adjusting the angular confinement beam?
We've reversed the polarity of the nacelles, so now we'll just do everything. It'll be quantum.
It'll be a quantum transceiver, little Chad. What do you think? Are you any expectations or predictions for the final episode?
Given the way the season's gone so far, I expect when they show up by themselves and are about to die, there's going to be several, maybe even Scylla, showing up with the Romulan ships because they like doing that. I don't know. There's going to be something silly as long as it's not Scott Pilgrim, like the power of love changes Jack and somehow he.
This is secret hideout. You know what's going to happen.
Okay, so it's going to be the power of love, and Jack is going to assimilate everybody, and they're going to take out the Borg fleet when it shows up. So,
all right. Mega Reacts, how about you, buddy?
I think he nailed it. It's going to be a happy ending with love saves the day shenanigans. And then at the end, the Enterprise D is going to fly off to the second star on the right, or however the hell.
Second star to the right and straight on till morning.
Yeah.
They're not going to Neverland.
That's how it's going to end. They're going to have
That's
to
how
that
Kirk
end.
did it in Undiscovered Country, which is his real exit. Generations didn't happen for Kirk, so we're fine.
Right. All right, Deej, what do you think, bud?
Okay, well, first of all, Rafi and Seven will figure out how to disconnect the Borg from the Federation ships, nullifying them so they will have nothing to do about this, because you'll have a bunch of wandering drones that have no way of operating anything, so they're just going to be sitting there useless. And Picard will go in to try to save his kid and end up sacrificing himself, which means Picard bot will be gone forever.
Oh, that's right. Picard bot is positronic now, so he can like digitally fight the Borg Queen to release his son. Maybe that's
like in the Matrix.
Yeah, they'll go in and it'll be like the architect sitting in a chair with all those monitors.
and that will go back to my prediction from the very first episode when he was with his Vulcan girlfriend, and she said that she would meet him on whatever planet that was. She will end up sitting there by herself because he's dead.
But if she's Vulcan, she won't mind.
No, she's Romulan.
Oh, then she's screwed.
Over emotional. All right. And thank you guys. Appreciate you being here. Thank everybody in the chat. I love this show, and I'm glad to have all of the different viewpoints here. And it's great. It's good to be fans again, talking about whether we like something or dislike something because of the writing, and instead of this woke crap or anything political or social. That to me is the best part. That's why I love doing these reviews. Like, I completely paused doing Rogue Entertainment, the regular platform, the regular system of reviewing articles, talking about topics. Because
Commiserating,
commiserating. Well, because I think this is, for me, whether you like it or not, it's showing that an attempt has been made by one of these companies to do something that the fans will or will not like.
And it's totally a nerd thing to argue about. I mean, if anybody I know these latecomers to the party don't remember what it was like going to conventions in the late 80s and 90s. You were arguing about all sorts of shit, and it was good natured, and it was like, who's the best captain? Is it Kirk or Picard? Is it
right?
And you would get like heated. These are heated discussions. Like, I remember getting into an argument. It wasn't Star Trek. It was like on the crew complement of the Death Star when I was like in high school. I mean, that's how nerdy you get, like when you're into those details. It's like, you didn't read the Star Wars encyclopedia. You don't need know that it's 1 million is the crew complement that Luke just took out with 1 torpedo. That he's a mass murderer on the level you have never seen. It's like, you know, which is why one of my favorite YouTube videos is stormtroopers in a bar after the Death Star, and it's like their 9/11. And they're arguing like, you think one ship on its own took that out, man? It's a conspiracy.
It's great.
But yeah, so fights always happen, but this is the good kind of fight where we're arguing about like the plot and the characters, and does this make sense? It's not like, oh, this is just the worst thing and they're just trying to destroy my show. So I agree with you, Steve. It's nice to get back to the arguments of my youth instead of the arguments of the last 8 years.
Yeah.
These
Exactly.
arguments are fun.
I forgot one thing in my prediction.
That Cisco is actually the best captain?
He was. Correct answer.
Last thing to my prediction is it goes to Starfleet Academy in the future, and you have Michael Burnham pushing the button saying, "End program."
God damn you and your Enterprise reference, you son of a bitch.
Don't do that, Deej. Don't do that. All right, we're gonna close out. So I got a lot of good shows on tonight. Please remember to go check out Sporking News Podcast, The Dump, and Eats Up Cooling, the Place to Be reviews. He's gonna be having a show after that. So please, there or wherever else you are going tonight, make sure you hit the like button, share out a link, and have fun in the chat with the rest of our brothers and sisters, our fellow nerds, just rocking out and having fun. First up, I am going to let Mr. Tickle Trunk tell you that he's going to be at Mads on Thursday. Or Mags, I'm sorry, Mags.
Yeah. So Magitech Mags, I'm going to be there every Thursday. We're playing Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster for the first time. It's both of our favorite games, so we're doing that together, and I'm here every Saturday on 7 o'clock. And it's really nice to hear people talk about something they love for a change.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thank you for being here, Mr. Tickle Trunk. I'll see you in the chats on Thursday. All right. Next up is Slender Dad.
Thanks. You can find me on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am one half of the Ascendant Art Podcast, the other being Lil Chad. You can also find me on the Mad Stump on Wednesdays, and I do movies with Mad, and sometimes we go on adventures in Conan Land, and we're trying to make that happen later tonight, so that might happen.
Badass, man. Guys, go check out Mad Marber Entertainment. Great channel, great people over there. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Next up is Little Chad.
Yeah, that's a convenient to switch to me right after Slender plugged the same thing I would, which is the Ascendant Art Podcast. Our YouTube channel is Ascendant Art, so you can subscribe over there if you enjoy this kind of conversation. I am sorry if I talked a lot. I just am super passionate about having Star Trek I enjoy again. It hasn't happened in a while, so thank you. Hopefully everybody, even if you disagree with me about liking the show, can appreciate that it's good to have the conversations where we're arguing about this kind of stuff. So thanks for coming and watching the show. And again, Ascendant Art Podcast is where we are here on YouTube. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Please subscribe to Little Chad, Ascendant Art Podcast, and support your independent creators out there like Mega Reacts.
Hold on. Can I say one thing before we go on? I love when people apologize for being a guest. Carry on.
Thank you. All right. Next up is Mega Reacts.
You can find me at Mega Reacts on YouTube. Also, I'm on Patreon. I'm on Rumble and Odyssey. Just look me up. I do reactions to movies, TV. My Picard reaction is up now if you want to see what I really think. And I could use some likes on that because it's not well liked right now.
Oh, guys, throw out one of the mods. Can you throw out a link for his channel and that review? And for everybody else on the panel, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here, man. Can't wait to see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. And next up is the Pink Bunny Package himself, DJ Odyssey.
Yeah, you can find me on my channel where I actually did 2.5 hours of talking about that episode right after it aired. And I'm not apologetical. I only have one more thing to say. It's been a long road getting from there to here.
Jesus Christ, Enterprise.
You are a monster.
Thank you, Deej. Appreciate you, brother. Thank everybody in the chat stopping through. If you're watching this later, appreciate you. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think of any of our takes or how you feel about Star Trek Picard Season 3. and share out the links. Do me a favor, share out links to your favorite YouTubers, people who have projects for books, your favorite comic book artists, whatever it be. We don't have an industry to support us. We only have each other, and we rise together. I greatly appreciate it. I have a lot of fun doing these reviews, seeing a lot of names come through the chat I haven't seen in a while, like Captain Robert April. What's up, dude? Good to see you, brother. Chronos, appreciate you stopping by. It's King of the Squibs, always, man. Always been so supportive. Sean, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for being here. E. Clay, hail, brother. A lot of really cool people, brothers and sisters I've seen in several different chats over the years. Good friends, great takes, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So support your independent creators, your favorite creators out there. And I am author Stephen Walton, the Fandom Menace historian, your historian, born in the chats of the High Council with my brothers and sisters fighting for our modern mythologies. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Be good to each other. You suffer no fools. Peace.
Vaginas in the rain. So many fucks given. Wet ass vagina. Vaginas in the rain. So many fucks given. Wet ass vagina. Vaginas in the rain.